Contenders, but prior to that, at the very least, they would know each other, that's for sure.
The really key thing for this matchup for me is how can Yang shut down Modern? Modern last week got shut down by Sign Sombra on the King of the Hill map straight away, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the series. And if Modern can get some freedom here to execute his hero's abilities, then maybe it's going to be an easy day for Warriors.
Maybe. Say easy. I'm not so sure that that's necessarily been the case. We've been talking about Sydney Drop Bears getting better and better. They've already rolled out on a pretty decent looking composition for what's up against Warriors here, with the Kraken being on Moira, should be fairly safe. Niang, as you've already mentioned, on Sombra, going to try and put the hurt into Modern.
They've certainly read the situation well and already caught Tung and Huss off getting very low. And Tung, the aggression out of the Sydney Drop Bears, this is what you like to see from them. Fighting back.
We've got a game on our hands. This is exactly what we wanted to see as well. Quite frankly, if I was to write a storyline, I would give it to Sydney Drop Bears. I'd give them the win in this series, and then that makes tomorrow all the more interesting. But it's going to be a hard-fought win if Sydney Drop Bears do end up getting there. Still, they started off the way they wanted to, with the cap and with a fight win.
Certainly is. You can't give Huss's Widow an inch, and they managed to stop All's line of sight and really put him under pressure at the start. And this is going to force the change out of the Warriors there. We saw Mindfreak struggle when they swapped over in the previous series. They lost a lot of time on this point. Eventually ended up dropping the map.
Yeah. Modern is going to have the backup at least of a nano boost.
Yeah, he's getting dangerously close to this EMP in the first fight.
Well, do they need the EMP to win this fight, or is there going to be something else? Maybe Dreamer with the Primal Rage, you can then save the EMP through to the next fight. It does seem as though it's kind of going to lean a little bit more towards the EMP now that it is available for Niang, and Winter has been EMP'd as well. Oh, sorry, Bionated, I should say. It was the EMP coming from Sydney Drop Bears, and yeah, I mean, Tung and Roro, they can't really do anything. Dreamer with the Primal Rage, and then they've been hacked up. You're just dead. Unfortunately, you're just dead. So that's a great fight from Dreamer, and from Niang getting a decent EMP across. Fairly hefty investment though from Sydney Drop Bears when you consider it was EMP and Primal Rage.
They do have ults going into the next fights, and Warriors, because they swapped over so early, that they don't have ults to really go to match that. Tung has the nano boost, but there's going to be a lot of pressure coming out from that Coalescence, and the Brig Rally means he can get very, very aggressive. And if Shoyo overextends, he has the bomb to remake.
Let's see what Tung can do here with this nano boost. Well, I guess also what Modern can do. He almost got booped off there. That was a little dangerous. A Kraken under some fire from that Tesla cannon, but Modern stuck inside. Niang, oh dear, that's not where you want to be. Doesn't seem to have a translocator, or if he did, he couldn't use it in time. He gets smashed into the wall time and time again by Modern. No getting out of that one. Still, we're built up to 88% here for Sydney Drop Bears, so even if this is a losing fight, as long as they can prolong it, they get up to that 99%, allow them to go across, and then it's back to square one from there for Warriors, as they then need to mount their own defense. That has been achieved for Sydney Drop Bears. So now, as you can see, it's time to reset. They start to back away a little from the fight.
Dreamer wants to go in here.
Recontesting though.
The cap goes over, so maybe the recontest is off now.
Yeah.
But this means that Kraken will swap over. Yang has the EMP ready to go too, so this could be a quick fight win for Warriors if they don't manage to catch him out. Tung with a nice bio-nade there, kind of set the tone for the fight. He got isolated early, but the boys managed to bail him out.
Yeah, the beauty of these fights for Niang is that they've been lasting for so long. So he's been able to build EMPs very quickly indeed. This is a scary prospect ahead for Warriors.
It's scary to walk into Huss's Grabbed here too. If they get caught off guard, they might not be able to follow up on the EMP when it comes out.
Graviton Surge is in his own connected onto Shoyo, but there's nothing to keep him alive, and the mech goes down. Winter actually fell to the self-destruct too.
It was a fantastic bash, I believe, from Roro to knock him to the floor, disable his shield, and that took him out. And now fight win for Warriors. This is going to be... it's going to be so hard for the Sydney Drop Bears to get in here. Warriors are holding so close to try and get that pressure on before the EMP comes out. Warriors will have the sound barrier and the Brig Rally to answer this EMP. If it's timed correctly, this could be very easy fight win actually for the Warriors. It's all on the support players though. Will Roro and Jungle be able to use their ults effectively versus this EMP? They're positioned very well right now. Jungle's hiding.
Yeah.
Can't hit him with this EMP.
He's just looking, trying to find anything, but really at this point it's a one-man EMP at best. Great flick from Noz, but he's demeched anyway. And this is where you'll look to see the EMP come out as Warriors start to filter onto the point. They're going to need to, they're going to be forced to, and still the EMP hasn't been thrown in, and yet the fight is being won by Sydney Drop Bears. You could not ask for a better situation than this, and how long does Niang wait here at this point? I mean, there we go, finally 4 picked up by the EMP. And Sydney Drop Bears, they're going to win this round. There is no question about that one.
That's a beautiful beat from Jungle though. Could turn it.
It is indeed. cannot turn it though. 6v5 or 6v4 really, as I think Tung was just coming off the respawn as well. City Drop Bears certainly having some difficulty chunking on through that, but now Fluro gets his own beat on the point, and unfortunately that health pack is hacked up, so it's no reprieve for Tung.
They're struggling to close out the fight here, but the Primal Rage will come up from Dreamer, and this could be the key here. He could drop. He's going to juggle Roro. Poor Roro's stuck, and there's a few players going towards the edge of the map, but Jungle managed to
Shoyo's off the map. How is this happening? City Drop Bears, it was a surefire win, but they haven't quite been able to clean it up as they needed to. It's probably still favouring them at this point, I would say. They've at least put the point over as well, which puts even more pressure onto Warriors.
Niang with another EMP in the fight, and the Bio Grenade comes out into Tung and Roro, and that's going to be the signal of death for them, surely.
There we go.
Finally, the Drop Bears managed to cap it out.
Oh, well. Pretty backwards and forwards on the first round on well.
Certainly was. Niang waiting forever with that EMP, as you said, but he waited till the perfect moment. Jungle couldn't afford to stay out of the fight any longer. He needed to drop that heal aura onto Tung. He was getting pressured out so much. Roro preemptively rallied there to try and get some aggression on and try and seal the deal before Niang pulled the trigger on the EMP. Well done by Niang, showing great resolve there to hold it for so long, because it can be difficult, because you feel like you're doing nothing just running around in stealth, but really you're isolating the Lucio, so he's not doing anything for his team, and that leaves Tung to be super vulnerable. Now Huss is going to answer back with a Sombra of his own. We've seen him build EMPs incredibly fast this season on that Sombra. Can he do it once more? Noz on the Zarya, very talented player, Noz, one of my players of the season in fact.
Really ecstatic to hear that he's one of your players of the season, Smash.
Yeah, actually probably would be. It's a big honour.
I'm sure it is. Well, Odin might be another one of them. He's able to have a good series here for Warriors.
Certainly could be. He's dancing around the edge of the map, and down he goes straight away.
That's a beautiful ragdoll as well, going straight off the map. At the very least, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but Niang going down, I feel, is going to have a little less of an impact than Modern going down. That said, does halt the EMP charge, which is not too ideal. Huss is up to 60%, Niang at 22.
And that EMP can be a real fight winner, especially if you get one early before the support ults come out. But Warriors have managed to come into the point very early here, and they might be able to flip the cap. They have.
Yeah, Dreamer just wasn't able to get the support that he needed. City Drop Bears not rallying quickly enough.
Now we saw Athletico hold the high ground here very aggressively and use it perfectly almost to rotate the fights, but it looks like Huss is just going to wait for him to enter this courtyard and then drop the EMP. There should be no defensive ult to answer for this. It should be a big free fight win here.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing to answer for it either. Like, not even just defensive ultimates, but any ultimate, anything. It was, as you say, a clean one, free one.
What's caught in the spawn door here? But
yeah, he'll be okay.
if the Kraken wanted to delete his ult charge, he could have permanently left him there, but he didn't. But Modernnet is now hacked. He still gets away. Good teamwork shown by the side of the Warriors, not to leave your boy hanging. They haven't chosen to use the high ground though. Warriors are kind of dry on ult. Noz just come up on this Graviton Surge. Sydney Drop Bears with all the cards, but no defensive ult to answer for this Graviton Surge from Noz.
Well, both the grabs go out, and it's actually Noz that dies first, even despite the fact that there's a Transcendence, a defensive support ultimate, and then not one for Sydney Drop Bears. It's actually a favourable trade for the Drop Bears in this instance. Modern gets a nice shot, but he's being harassed around the side. He can't follow up onto it. He can't get those big Reinhardt swings through. The big hammer not having much of an impact this time.
No, that's been the thing. They've been able to punish Modern's aggression. They've been really focusing on him. You saw on the rollout, he got just bodied pretty much. And now, okay, the high ground setup is going to come out from the side of the Sydney Drop Bears. And Winter could be hiding up here to set up a Bash Shatter. I think he has revealed himself though.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain Warriors would be aware. Niang doesn't have EMP. Did he use it in the last fight? Must have.
Must have.
Didn't really see it. Someone's on the cap. Dreamer's going to back on up. It's Huss, I think, that was on the cap.
It is, and he's hacked too. He's been caught. But he managed, he actually won the 1v1 and he gets out too. Huss showing his expert play.
I can't believe that still. It's a big shatter from Dreamer. If you thought there was a little bit of a worrisome situation there for City Drop Bears. No worries at all.
Rest assured.
The nightmare turned into a dream.
That was solid from you, mate. Proud of yourself.
Well, it was a bit of a nightmare, really. If
it
you,
really
if
was.
you get your hack onto the enemy Sombra and then lose the 1v1 as Niang, that's not good. Huss almost saves it for Warriors, but...
And can he save it with this EMP? Is Niang looking for revenge, actually? But you don't want to be taking this too often. Oh, he's actually doing so much work to him.
Forces the translocate at the very least.
Certainly does, and now Huss is in a difficult position to get that EMP off, and Shoyu's thrown in the Graviton Surge.
Huss dives straight back on in, does get 5 with the EMP. Dreamer's got absolutely no chance there. Time for Sydney Drop Bears to just sacrifice themselves on the point, try and build up as much percentage as possible. They're up to 84. They do have a fight win ahead of them.
I think if Fluoro manages to avoid that EMP there, they could have just sealed the round there and sealed the map. Niang was coming up on that EMP, and wow, what a nice EMP from Huss to catch out 5 players there, and Fluoro might have been caught napping with his Lucio beat there. Niang, now it's all on him. He needs to know what support ults they have. All he needs to do is catch jungle, really. We saw him do that in the previous round to seal it, but jungle, he might be wiser this time. He's hiding very in the back left corner. You can see his little silhouette there through the wall. Niang, he won't know where he is. He needs to get this EMP off quicker. Modern shatters the shield.
He's looking for it. Niang actually decides not
He makes
to
the beat!
He did, that's huge. Now when can he throw the EMP in? Does he even need to? It seems as though Sydney Drop Bears are waiting out the beat. Cancels another translocator. Tung doesn't have his transcendence just yet. What is Niang doing? He's continuing to play with them. He's just waiting longer and longer and longer. EMP finally thrown in. Does connect on the 2, but Huss gets an even better one. Is it too little too late though? It's a 1-for-1 trade as Shoyo will drop. Fluoro still has beat though, and that might be the saving grace for Sydney Drop Bears in the fight as it's going to be invested in. Dreamer healthy now. Everyone's healthy on Sydney Drop Bears, and Warriors, they've lost the first map. Ilios goes 2-0 the way of Sydney Drop Bears. Niang, what an absolute crazy mad lad. I don't even know what to say about that. That was like 3 fake EMPs. He's
a nutter. He did it on Ilios on Well too, where he held that EMP for so long. He didn't want to spend it at all, and then on the next map, he baits the sound barrier out, and then he just still chooses to throw and fake it.
Is there a chance? I'm going to try and see.
I want to see what else I can get here.
See. There was nothing.
There was nothing.
But in the end, it works out for Sydney Drop Bears, so can't complain. Niang with the big brain 2000 IQ plays. Well, Sydney Drop Bears start off nicely. A win on Ilios.
That's 5 map losses in a row for Warriors too.
Yeah.
They need to break the curse, need to break the streak. Very well played though. They read their compositions well. They obviously knew that what the DPS compositions were going to be favoured on well on the rollout, so they rolled out on the Kraken Moira, which shows to be the right choice. They get 2 free fight wins off that essentially, and then they just managed to 1v1 outplay pretty much. It was good. Good ults, good decision making. It was very well done by the side of the Sydney Drop Bears, and you like to see that they're alive again.
I do, yeah.
We've been struggling to see them show any sort of shine in this season, but they look like they've found a bit more of an identity now. They've got Niang off the Widowmaker onto the Sombra, and yeah, he had some questionable stuff losing that 1v1 to Huss, but sometimes that type of stuff just happens, you know?
Yeah.
He's shown to be a lot better on this Sombra though. His decision making has been pretty good.
Definitely. I want to see what Niang can do on some other heroes as well. You know, do we get to see him later on in this series in a Widowmaker duel against Huss? That's going to be something that'll be a sight to behold. It does seem, though, that Sydney Drop Bears in the last couple of weeks have really been showing a lot of presence on that Sombra 3-3, more so than anything else. And Niang, well, when it works fantastically. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, though. They did lose 3-1 last week against Ground Zeroes, so even with that win over Warriors, a pretty clean win, 2-0 on Ilios, it's not quite enough to fill me with confidence that this is going to be the series win that Sydney Drop Bears is looking for. It's a great start, don't get me wrong, but they're going to need to keep this kind of pace and this kind of pressure up over the course of another 2 or 3 maps. Otherwise, they're really going to continue to just drop a little bit at the 11th hour. Certainly,
and it is a big task to keep that side of pressure and that level of play up for a whole series. Doing it for one map is completely fine, great, all well and good.
Yeah.
But to do it versus a quality outfit like the Warriors, the class of players like Huss, Tung, Roro, Noz, like every name on that roster is a star player, and to do it for 4 maps, or to do it last week, can Drop Bears emulate that and do it this week?
Yeah, but that's the difference, isn't it, right? Order is a team that you probably expect to be able to do that every single series, every day of the week. That's Order in a nutshell. And it was an underperformance from Order up to the point where they ended up 4-0ing Warriors, and you're like, oh, okay, they're back. We're going to need an overperformance today from Sydney Drop Bears to beat Warriors, in my mind.
No, almost certainly, but I mean, they've shown on that map, they had some solid starts. I mean, the starts were good. They used their ultimates well. Winter used his Brigitte ultimate well, which is one of the key things for teams. If you're using your Brig ult well, it gives you such an advantage in these fights. It's an ult that people, when Brig first came out, we didn't really think about it too much, and then all of a sudden it became so important, a little crucial piece of information pretty much. Now Paris, we've seen Bunker comps, we've seen Winston Goats comps, and we saw a full hold in our previous series. I don't think we're going to see the same here. I think these two teams are looking to go the distance. It's a map they can get capped out pretty quickly with snowballs, so maybe this is the map we see the Widowmaker come out for Niang and Huss.
Yeah, could be. The bunker comps out on both sides.
Almost certainly. Series is alive. It's like our previous series. We didn't think that Athletic had any sort of chance in the series, but then they come and take the first map and have a good showing on the third as well.
I'd say it's more likely that we're going to see Sombra for Niang here.
Oh, he's locked it in, but he is on the
Widow. I don't know about that.
No, they're just mucking around.
No.
Warriors will... This is a composition that they will look like playing, though. Huss can get the valuable information of scouting, and he also build EMP charge while Roro is shooting. You can't pay attention to all the angles.
It's Winter on the... Look.
Autumn/Winter. There is actually a player called Autumn in the Oceanic scene as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spenny more clothiers.
That's where I need to go, I reckon. You can shop there.
That looks very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Maybe you could buy some shoes there, Smash.
I don't think so.
Too expensive?
Probably.
No shoes are too expensive for you.
Yeah, no, you're right, you're right.
So Dreamer onto the Wrecking Ball. Hey, that's a nice Bionade from Tongue across the spawn doors.
Hooking that one up in the lab, I reckon he was. But this Sydney Droppers, it looks like a... Well, they haven't chosen their identity yet. Winter onto the Farah, Dreamer onto the Orisa. Those heroes don't really combinate well. Oh, well, they are chosen this slower based comp. It's kind of like a bunker buster, but at the same time it is very slow moving. Shoyu moves over to the Hanzo as well.
Yeah. It's going to try and put as much damage into the shield as possible. Winter needs to be careful. Holt goes through as well, and that's the go signal for Winter. He can get across now. And
no! There's no mercy!
That's not good for Warriors. That is not good. I mean, this is where the tilt starts to maybe set in. You've lost 2-0 on Ilios, and then straight up on Paris. This is where they should just get absolutely cleanly wiped on point A. That said, Roro swapped over to Tracer, so he should be back in no time.
Winter's managed to catch Huss though. He has been bionated, but he's managed to hide Shoyo. He takes out Modern.
Shoyo's gaming hard.
He is gaming very hard at the moment. He's turning back the clock. Winter's taken out Tongue too. This point's all over for the side of the Warriors.
Sydney Drop Bears are back. The Dynasty rises up. Let's not call it too early.
That's a movie title, that.
The Dynasty rises up. Sydney Drop Bears are back. The Dynasty rises up.
Okay, maybe it's
That's
one of
probably
those,
the worst movie.
Okay, maybe it's like the quote beneath the movie title.
That'd be like a Chinese movie that got auto-translated into English.
Yeah, okay. Roro, he's sneaking around, but he's been found. Really reacting time for the manual hack, though.
Revenge of the Yo.
Revenge of the Yo. Yeah. He's been caught, but Roro hasn't hit him much yet.
Is it going to be Revenge of the Row?
Very well could be. That EMP has come up very quickly.
How do you feel about Tracer on this point?
Oh, I mean, Tracer in this meta is really difficult to play. On this patch, it's very, very difficult to play. And you see him swap over to the Brigade straight away. Niang has the key to the kingdom right now. He's going to hack us. No, he translocates out of it.
Just in time. But you're right about the keys to the kingdom for Niang. Is he going to have a 5,000 IQ bait here again? What's he going to bait out? A nano boost?
Huss goes down
Doesn't
early.
need to do that anymore. Oh dear, it's all gone. What is happening here? Warriors? Where is the Warriors from 2 weeks ago? Sydney Drop Bears are taking that mantle, it seems. That's a 5 minutes and 43 cap time available for them into the time bank.
Huss gets caught out by a stun somehow. I think Shoyo's Brig might have caught him, and Nade goes in and he goes down early, and then everyone was all over the place there. Warriors are really, they're really not looking like themselves.
No, they're not.
I thought it was a blip on the radar last week. I thought they were going to be able to bounce back and show some form going into the playoffs, but
well, they're not used to playing from behind, are they?
Certainly not. And you mentioned the tilt. I don't think there's players that tilt that hard on the Warriors.
Well, if there was...
Well, they would be showing now, that's for sure.
This is where it starts to set in, especially if you lose this map now. Like, if you lose this, go down 0-2, you're thinking, oh, you know, if we lose this series, we could actually fall all the way down to 4th place after holding first for every week. I think maybe second week, Atletico was in first or something like that. But basically, Warriors have been first seed the whole season long. And now at the 11th hour, things are looking a little bit dangerous for them. Look, it's not the end of the world just yet. It's only one map.
I mean, even if they drop this, they can still reverse sweep, come back, and be right as rain.
Yeah.
Sydney Drop Bears looking very powerful on the offense, though. Managed to catch Roro sleeping on the... Oh, just a little bit of miscommunication on the Bastion in the early phase. Maybe the shield wasn't up. Maybe the Lamp wasn't up from the Baptiste. They call it Lamp because it looks like one, but it is the Immortality Field.
Immortality Field. Excellent work, Smash.
I know names and things.
What's the name of that robot?
Larissa.
Larissa. I was talking about the...
Oh, you were talking
singer.
about... Oh, yeah. Larissa, I don't know. Well, that's a law question. I don't do law questions.
Alright. You're not a lawyer?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Ooh,
Oh, I actually studied law for a little bit.
something I should know.
Boring.
Yeah. Buying shoes is much more exciting.
Yep.
Okay, Sydney Drop Bears with a bit of an interesting composition again. Niang this time onto the Widowmaker. So we do get to see what we had hoped. Huss and Niang going head to head.
I was excited to see Roro versus Winter too. Winter's been playing a lot of Pharah recently, and he's one of those projectile players that you like to see on those projectile heroes, not onto the Brigitte. So he's going to be unleashed in playoffs, but for now, he's unleashed in versus the Warriors.
Yeah, Modern doing a pretty good job of blocking a lot of these shots actually with his shield.
Flura's in a lot of trouble here. Oh, he just gets bailed out by his Ana player.
He's okay. Good work there from a Kraken. Winter's way too low. He's just fallen to the ground, and Huss is like, "G'day, mate."
That's really left Fluro vulnerable, and this is going to be a rough time now for the Sydney Drop Bears as there are 2 players down already. No res available because the res went down. Dreamer picked off as well. This is disastrous for the side of the Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, Shoyo not able to connect that hook either. And it's going to need some magic here from Niang to turn around point A. I think Sydney Drop Bears are probably better off just resetting and actually posting themselves up for a good solid defense on point B.
This is where the trouble comes now. They've swapped over their whole composition to this 3-3, and they've only got 1 ult to play with. Warriors are going to have... This is their best chance. If they can get this Dragon Strike off with the Suck, then there's going to be no answer for the side of Sydney Drop Bears. They've got the double sniper. They've got Tongue in position as well. He's going to be hard to bring down without a Zenyatta. They go aggressive to Sydney Drop Bears, and they managed to bait out the Dragon Strike.
A few ticks going through from that Dragon Strike, but Sydney Drop Bears are right back on top of Warriors here. Dreamer so low indeed, and the ult actually doesn't quite connect there from Modern. It was looking like it was going to pull a couple in. That would have been great. Niang falls early on in the piece though, and now Supercharger is going to be put down on the point for Modern. It's the charge forward that Warriors needed. Shoyo, where on earth is he? Chasing people around the map, just not being able to quite get the picks that he wants. And yet Sydney Drop Bears are not falling. They're not dying. Dreamer's got a Primal Rage now as well, which might be able to turn things around if he gets a good one off here. He's chasing down the Hanzo. It's Roro, who will eventually fall. Fluro also gets Huss. So even despite the fact that Sydney Drop Bears on paper look like they're losing this fight, they're losing it slowly enough that their respawns are going to come back in here and be able to continue to contest and waste the Warriors' time.
They haven't quite got a tick as Fluro goes very aggressive and finds Roro's Hanzo. He wants out of that fight really quickly. Winter on the point anchoring. It gets hooked by Tongue and taken out. Morton's going so low, but he's not just dead yet.
Yeah, but even still, this trickle is going to be something that Warriors are not too pleased to see. Sure, they should eventually cap this out, but it might cost them another minute or so.
The Winter Rally's coming up, and the Niang EMP. Ults are coming up on the Sydney Drop Bears, and this could turn it, definitely.
Oh, he gets hooked! Still he gets it across! It hits 4 players, Warriors! Oh, that was so close! Tongue, I don't know if he didn't have any shots available in his gun or what.
It was Shoyo swooping in from behind to Matrix him to save him. Wow. Shoyo, turning back the clock. He's been probably my MVP so far.
Shoyo is definitely having a good series. And we asked for it a couple of weeks ago. You know, we said, like, okay, Shoyo on a crack, and the veterans of this roster have to be the ones to have a good series.
Never count the Yo out. He's a big brain boy. Very smart, and he's showing all of his intelligence today as he's been braining on them.
He's Shoyoing.
He's Shoyoing, that's for sure.
Okay, well.
Niang's being slept, though. They didn't wait for the combo. Alright. That didn't mount to anything.
Self-destruct is here for Shoyo. Primal Rage nearly there for Dreamer. That's a lot of stall time on the point, and Warriors have swapped off as well. So they have to take a few dry fights here and build ults. It's going to be another couple of minutes before they cap this out.
They did manage to get 2 ticks though, so that's a good start. Shoyo sends the bomb in, but they're not going to be able to follow up on it. A big bio nade comes out as Jungle decides to take a look at it.
I think he's been watching Stolen's demos.
He must have been, but sometimes it's a bit too attractive to look at the Devil. You're looking at it, and you just end up gravitating
Fly
towards
too close to the sun.
Yep. Icarus. But they did manage to take 2 ticks, so it is going to be a little more simple for the side of the Warriors. If they can manage to build these ults up, they can just play for that 1 tick.
I mean, they've still lost a lot of time. It's a 2-minute advantage at the moment for Sydney Drop Bears. It's going to be, at worst, 3-minute advantage, I'd say, for Sydney Drop Bears. Like, if Warriors cap out instantly in this fight.
This fight's going to be rough too. If they go onto this right side, Niang's going to have the perfect room to EMP in. If they have identified it quickly, they haven't. They don't know they're coming there yet. So they're going to be late on this. They're going to have to wait until they touch the point for this EMP opportunity now.
Oh, well, are they? Niang indeed will let them forward. But even still, it's a good spot for the EMP. There's just not that much cover for Warriors to play with once they're on the point. Niang's waiting.
He's definitely showing the patience that we showed on the previous map too. Dreamer's going to go in and create some space. Noz's been hacked, yeah. He could get picked off here, especially if he's punched back into the team.
Oh, this is some really great stalling from Sydney Drop Bears. They're not over-investing. Dreamer, the Primal Rage is used first. When that fades, EMP is going to be used to commit to the fight. In fact, actually Nano Boost still wasting more time of Warriors, and now finally EMP comes out. I really like how patient Niang is being with these. He's just not over-committing. He's not wasting them early. Buying as much time as possible away from Warriors. That was a 30-second or 40-second setup before EMP. Imagine he uses the EMP to start the fight. Sure, Sydney Drop Bears probably wins off the back of that, but they've actually bled another minute off the clock for Warriors than they would ordinarily have had.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful nano boost actually coming out from a Kraken to keep Dreamer alive. Dreamer overcommitted, used his bubble and his shift into the air, and Noz threw a bomb that would have killed him, but the nano boost damage reduction comes out from a Kraken and saves him, and that keeps the fight running. Niang with the EMP to turn it. It's interesting Sombra playstyle. We haven't seen this in Australian contenders yet. Usually the Sombras have just been rushing their EMPs, they've been going for any opportunity they can get, but Niang is showing patience. Played a bit different way. This Husky yeets a grab into the Shoyo direction.
Yeah, it's going to catch Pluro as well, but he does get his sound barrier down just to keep himself alive, but also helps Shoyo out. Now we see the Earth Shadow. The ult's starting to finally come online for Warriors, but is that really going to be enough? Niang gets tongue. He's building up to 64% of the EMP, so we might even see that coming out later in this fight if it's necessary. But Dreamer's doing so much work right now that Warriors are going to be forced away regardless, which is going to be the perfect situation for Sydney Drop Bears because 1 minute left on the clock. Warriors are going to have one, maybe two fights. Best case scenario too, but it's going to be a rush fight.
Certainly.
And this next one, they're running into an EMP grab.
Yeah, they got the God comp going. They got the EMP, the grab, and the biotic grenade. That means everything dies in that grab if it gets hit. So Noz is going to have to be the big playmaker now to eat this Graviton Surge. They are rotating away. This means there's only going to be one fight left. Morton pokes his head out. What can he find? Dreamer's being slept, but it won't amount to anything just yet. Niang's going to be very patient in this EMP, as we've seen, but the grab, not so patient. He throws it in as Niang's Transcendence away.
EMP's definitely on the cards here. Totally cancels out that sound barrier. It's huge from Niang. My God, he's been an absolute machine with the EMPs today. Every single one has been a fight-winning EMP. And Sydney Drop Bears are reaping some massive benefits from it. This fight's going to go their way as well, and with 20 seconds on the clock, I wonder, can Warriors actually get themselves in a position to get another recontest with Huss dying so late? Roro's going to die late, probably, unless he gets out of here. But even still, it's a stagger onto the point here for Warriors, so they have to start the fight 5v6.
Certainly do. If they can even touch, who's going to touch? Jungle's coming around the right side, but Noz will be the one to give his life up for the cause.
Oh, that was getting close to perhaps not touching. In the end, Noz loses the mech forward. Modern's going to look for a shatter here. Oh, the translocate out from Niang. He's baited it. What an absolute mad lad. And Modern tries to get any kind of work done. We're waiting for some ults to come online for Sydney Drop Bears, quite frankly. Huss, the Graviton Surge is thrown in. But if this fight lasts another 5 seconds, Sydney Drop Bears will win it. Dreamer goes low, good heals coming across. Now Shoyo with his Graviton Surge, and Sydney Drop Bears, they're on the precipice of a 2-0 lead against the Warriors. That's exactly what's occurring right now in front of our eyes as everything is tossed in by the Drop Bears. And we're at 2-0 heading into the halftime break. I don't believe it. If I was going to see a 2-0, it was these guys, not these guys. I can't believe it. I'm absolutely stunned, gobsmacked. But we might well see Sydney Drop Bears win this series and Warriors drop out of first place for the first time this season.
They are one away, but that last one is always the hardest to close out. Numbani, it's an interesting map pick for sure. I don't know which way it turns because Niang's been so good on the Sombra that I would have given the advantage to Warriors at the start of the day, but now Niang's really been playing an absolute stellar game on this Sombra. He's outthought them, outbrained them every single turn.
Seems like everything Niang touches turns to gold at this point. Like, it's not even the EMPs now. Did you see that translocate to dodge the shatter? I mean, he's playing on another level right now.
Certainly is. It's not even his aim and mechanics at the moment that's showing up, and we know that they've been solid throughout the season. It's just his decision making. It's been a cut above the rest. And that really goes well on Sombra because this is one of those heroes where you just need that extra bit of decision making. You can make so many big plays, and he's been able to do it, that's for sure. And to have the backup of Dreamer and Shoyo both playing very well as well, it's a good recipe for success if you're the Sydney Drop Bears. And if they go in and they win this series, they're going to be dangerous in playoffs. They could make a big run.
Yeah, they definitely could, depending on where they end up as well. I mean, they win here, they're going to be 4-3. I mean, where do they go? They could potentially overtake Ground Zero. They could potentially overtake Order, again, depending on their results. I feel like it's probably unrealistic to expect that Order's going to drop their series and go back to 4-3. Ground Zero, that one is maybe possible. Like, maybe Legacy can beat Ground Zero. And then in that instance, Sydney Drop Bears probably jumps up to 4th place. This is all discussions that we have to have tomorrow. I mean, for now, you got to just give credit to Sydney Drop Bears for doing what they need to do. This is the best we've seen Sydney Drop Bears play this whole season.
100%.
And we've been hearing it. Like, we've been hearing people say, hey, look, it's just going to be a while. They just need to come online. Even the individuals on Sydney Drop Bears, I know you've been speaking to a few of them, and they've been saying, like, just give us time, you know?
Yeah.
And we've had 7 weeks now. We've been like, oh, well, how much time do you need? Finally, it seems to be coming
They
online
needed
for
7
Sydney
weeks.
Drop Bears. And, well, this is the perfect time, right?
Yep.
You win here, you secure playoffs, go into playoffs, have a good run in playoffs. I mean, who knows? Maybe we see them at Melbourne Esports Open.
Very well could, and it would be a shame not to see them in the Melbourne Esports Open, considering they won it last time with a different roster, albeit, but still, name was up in lights there, so I hope to see them there again.
It's going to be a pretty huge back end of this series. We're at 2-0 right now for Sydney Drop Bears. We need to take a break, but this is not going to be a series you want to miss. So take a little bit of time, go get some food, go to the toilet, but don't miss the next couple of maps.